It's not a requirement at this point, but if you want to be an NFL head coach, working on the offensive side as an assistant for the Washington Redskins at some point in your career sure does seem to help. On Monday night, the Packers reportedly offered Titans offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur the chance to take over in Green Bay. Every indication is that LaFleur will be the man to replace Mike McCarthy. If you're a fan of the Burgundy and Gold who thinks that name sounds familiar, that's because it is familiar. LaFleur coached quarterbacks for the Redskins from 2010 to 2013 under Mike Shanahan and worked closely with Kyle Shanahan in D.C., too. The younger Shanahan, of course, now runs things in San Francisco. Also a part of that staff, and another former Skins assistant who has moved into the head coaching ranks, Sean McVay. So that means 3 of the NFL's 32 coaching jobs are now occupied by guys who recently helped out in Washington. LaFleur is 39, so he's older than McVay and the same age as Shanahan. He's been involved in a bunch of different roles in both college and the pros, and it's clear the Packers liked what he's done as offensive coordinator with the Rams and Titans the past 2 seasons enough to trust him as their main man. He'll now be paired up with Aaron Rodgers, and how well they get along will largely determine whether this was the right hire or not. Everyone's looking for the next McVay, and in LaFleur, Green Bay is hoping they found him. More Redskins news: the 2019 NFL Draft now has its premier quarterback. On Monday, Ohio State passer Dwayne Haskins announced on Twitter that he's turning pro. He's fresh off a season in Columbus where he threw 50 touchdowns and finished 3rd in Heisman Trophy voting, and with his choice, he immediately becomes the top signal caller in April's draft. QB-needy teams, a group that certainly includes the Redskins, should be happy about Haskins' declaration. Less than 2019 NFL mock draft, post-wildcard updates greater than there's a lot of evaluating to do, but the Ohio State product looks like a top 5 caliber player. What's interesting, however, is that several organizations at the top of the draft order have already made commitments under center. The Cardinals, who own the top pick, drafted Josh Rosen last year. After them, the 49ers and Jets are spoken for at the sport's most important position as well. Behind them are the Raiders and Bucks, 2 franchises that could look at Haskins but could also keep rolling with Derek Carr and Jameis Winston, respectively. So, if you want to try and project what'll happen when the clock starts ticking, an exercise that's both very fun and very difficult, it's not hard to imagine some team trading up to try and acquire Haskins. Now, Washington obviously knows the hazards of such a move. Plus, it's sitting in the No. 15 spot of the draft, meaning it'd have to make a considerable and costly jump to get into the range of where the former Buckeye will likely be taken. However, with Alex Smith's future in extreme doubt and not much promise behind him, it's clear the Burgundy and Gold could use an influx of talent at QB, particularly young and cheap talent. And if the front office wants to reinvigorate a fan base, making a splash and adding a potential stud, one who played high school ball in Potomac, Maryland, by the way, is the quickest way to do so. Don't go and pre-order a Haskins Redskins jersey just yet. But now that he's committed to the NFL, you can officially start daydreaming about his arrival if you'd like to. More Redskins news: when the Redskins traded for Alex Smith last January, the team made it clear that Kirk Cousins' days in Washington had ended. One of the longest-running soap operas in NFL history finally ended. But it ended with the Redskins getting no compensation. A year later, that should change. OverTheCap.com put out their annual list of projected 2019 compensation picks, and Cousins is at the top of the list. Based on the $84 million, fully guaranteed deal he signed with the Vikings, the Redskins will get a compensatory 3rd-round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. That has long been the expectation. Compensatory picks are based on the contract a player signed after departing his first team in free agency, and when Cousins signed the first-ever fully guaranteed deal, it all but assured a 3rd-round pick coming back to Washington. third-rounders are the highest possible awarded draft pick based on the NFL formula. The Redskins are also expected to get a compensatory fifth-round selection for Trent Murphy, who signed with the Bills last offseason, and a sixth-round pick for Ryan Grant, who signed with the Indianapolis Colts. Washington likely would have gotten another compensatory pick for Bashaud Breeland, who signed with the Carolina Panthers last year in free agency before the deal was voided due to an undisclosed injury on Breeland's foot. Earlier in the year, it looked like the Redskins might get 4 picks awarded via the NFL's compensatory formula, which includes free agent contracts signed as well as season-long performance. When Spencer Long signed with the New York Jets last year, he could have meant another pick for the Redskins, but his performance did not rate high enough for OverTheCap.com to include him in their projections. The Redskins did, however, give up a fourth-round pick as a result of the acquisition of Clinton Dix before the 2018 NFL trade deadline. The NFL only awards 32 compensatory picks, and the formula assigns picks based on that number. The Redskins have the No. 15 overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, and hold picks in all rounds except the fourth. That selection got sent to Green Bay in a mid-season trade for Clinton Dix. Once the compensatory picks become final in late February, it's expected the Redskins will hold 9 picks, with 2 selections in the 3rd, 5th and 6th rounds. More Redskins news.